This video right here is about Suge Knight. This is all Rolling Stones. Please hit that like button. Suge Knight strikes a $1.5 million settlement to avert retrial in wrongful death case. In another reversal, the Death Row Records co-founder agreed to pay the widow and daughters of the Compton businessman he killed with his truck in 2015. After derailing a partial settlement last week and claiming he wanted a full-blown trial, Suge Knight made another about-face today and agreed to a $1.5 million settlement in his wrongful death civil case. The last-minute pact averted a retrial over claims filed by the wife and two daughters of Terry Carter, the Compton businessman who died on January 29, 2015, when Knight mowed him down in the parking lot of a Los Angeles burger stand in an incident linked to the NWA biopic Straight Outta Compton. Knight appeared by video from his prison in San Diego, agreed to take a deal at a hearing in downtown Los Angeles. Carter's widow, Lillian, and daughters, Nakia and Crystal, sat at the plaintiff's table as their lawyer, Lance Berringer, said each woman was due to receive $500,000 under the terms of agreement. Before he gave his final approval, Knight asked the judge what would happen if he moved ahead of the jury trial without his longtime lawyer, Debbie Kenner, representing him. Kenner spent the past few weeks trying to withdraw from the case, citing a conflict. During today's hearing, Knight seemed to accept their relationship had completely broken down. Los Angeles County Judge Thomas Long said if Knight didn't settle, jury selection will begin Thursday, even if Knight was left representing himself. There will be no further continuance in this case. It's out of time, Long said. Speaking outside the courthouse after the afternoon hearing, Carter's widow wiped tears remembering her husband she met in high school and knew for 40 years before Knight left him for dead in the parking lot of a Tam's Burgers in Compton. It's hard living without him when I lived all those many years with him. It's been very, very difficult, Lillian tells Rolling Stone. I've been in pain ever since January 29, 2015. I haven't had a good day, not a good day. Lillian says the thought of sitting through another trial in the case after jury deadlocked at an initial trial in 2022 led her to accept the settlement. I'm not happy with the outcome of it at all, but I don't want to give him another opportunity to put on a clown show and act like a B.I. You know what? She says, asking Rolling Stone not to censor her comments. Maybe somebody will shank him in jail. Damn. Carter's daughters say they hope the settlement will allow them to focus their efforts elsewhere. I'm glad it's finally over. It's been a long emotional and mental roller coaster. We couldn't put ourselves through it all again, Nakia says. I want to move onward and upward to get to work like my dad was always saying. On a recorded line from prison, Knight tells Rolling Stone that he regrets what happened at Tam's, but he stands by his claims he was fleeing an armed ambush and struck Carter by accident. Terry was a friend of mine. It definitely wasn't done intentionally. It wasn't done to bring harm to him, Knight says. One of the reasons I settled is I got respect for Terry, so that means I got respect for his family. I didn't want to put the family through more pain. It's not that I did anything wrong. I never would have. But I do owe the family an apology because of this thing they had to go through. Anything wrong, I never would have. Okay. Knight, who is 60, is serving a 28-year prison term after taking a plea deal related to Carter's death. Knight was initially charged with murder, but the count was dropped to voluntary manslaughter under the pact with prosecutors reached in 2018. He's currently trying to overturn the conviction with the help of another lawyer, Jasmine Mines. The wrongful death lawsuit filed by Carter's widow and two daughters alleged that Knight had a habit of breaking the law and then used his Ford F-150 Raptor truck to carelessly, recklessly, violently, and negligently killed Carter. At the my bad, y'all. At the 2022 trial, the family lawyer asked jurors to find Knight liable for $81 million, which equaled $1 million per year for each woman for each of the 27 years that Carter likely would have lived otherwise. The deadly incident at the center of the criminal and civil case unfolded shortly after Knight was turned away from a production office for Straight Outta Compton. Prosecutors claim Knight went to the base camp because he was upset with his violent depiction of the film and lack of financial participation. During the first civil trial, Knight claimed he wasn't upset and visited the base camp to request a meeting with Dr. Dre. Dre was the original member of NWA, went on to co-found Death Row Records with Knight. Knight testified that he wanted to tell Dre he was hearing from unidentified law enforcement that Dre put a murder-for-hire contract on his head. Knight said he didn't believe Dre wanted him dead, but wanted Dre to know what he allegedly was hearing. Dre was denied the murder-for-hire claim through a lawyer. An actor and self-described non-active gang member named Claiborne Sloan was working a technical advisor at Straight Outta Compton that day and got into a verbal altercation with Knight at the movie base camp. According to prosecutors, the civil lawsuit surveillance video from TAM showed that Sloan and Knight fought through Knight's Raptor window at the burger joint parking lot a short time later. The video shows that Knight reversed the 2-ton truck, knocking Sloan to the ground. Seconds later, Knight's truck accelerated forward, running both Sloan and Carter before Knight fled the scene, the video shows. Sloan was rushed to the hospital with 2 crushed ankles and a serious head laceration. Carter died within an hour from the blunt force injuries. Kenner, 82, has been Knight's lawyer for years, but he asked to be relieved from the civil retrial earlier this month after claiming he learned something disturbing during the recent phone call with Knight. He said that after the call, he felt anxious about being able to competently and energetically tried his case. Long rejected Kenner's request multiple times, but signaled he was on the verge of granting the motion heading into today's hearing. Now that Mr. Knight has chosen to resolve the case, I look forward to no further involvement, Kenner tells Rolling Stones. The Carter family lawyer declined comment. Lillian thanked him as she departed the courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. Lance worked very hard with the case. We very appreciative, she says. So that's an update on the Suge Knight situation. Man, this has been dragging along a long time, but, a settlement has been reached, $1.5 million. That means Terry Carter daughters and his wife get $500,000 each. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Please hit that like, share, subscribe. This Made Media Magazine. Shout out to Trenches News. Make sure y'all get that How I Survived Chicago Drill, the book, directly from Swiper on IG or Nene Marie 37. If you get it directly from them, you get an autographed copy, or get on Amazon.com, but get the hottest book out right now. Trenches News, How I Survived Chicago Drill. Shout out to the Mod Squad. I'm out.
If you want to support me, make sure you go ahead, Nene Marie 37 in her inbox if you want a signed copy of my book, man.